The team that everyone's looking to beat, the team that everyone's chasing after last year, the Ohio State Buckeyes are coming in at number 4. I know a lot of people are going to have Ohio State higher than me. I'm going to be an Ohio State doubter. I always will be. I'm not going to run from that. I'm a big Michigan guy. I'm not going to try and hide that. But Ohio State is really good again this year, okay? They have the same receiver core as they did last year. They got Jeremiah Smith, who is a freak of nature. There's no way he's from this planet. He is that good. You have Carnell Tate as your second string. He would be the star wide receiver at 95% of other schools. Only schools that maybe he's not is Alabama, maybe Texas under Ryan Wingo, but I think he's better than Ryan Wingo. I think the only other place that he's not the number 1 receiver is Alabama. That's it. He's that good. I love what Ohio State is doing. Okay, I like Julian Sayin. I don't love him. I think his floor is kind of around a Kyle McCord type season with a few more picks. So a Kyle McCord season, just a little bit worse turning the ball over. That's his floor. I think he's going to be a lot better than that. One of the quickest releases I've ever seen out of any high school kid. He's going to be a stud. Former 5-star. He's going to be the difference maker. The only question I have is does he feel like he has to force the ball to Jeremiah Smith? You have Carnell Tate. You have Max Clare, the tight end from Purdue, one of the few bright spots, which I actually forgot to mention. Here, let me go back to Oregon, because this reminded me of Oregon. They have a safety named Dylan Theinman from Purdue. I did not know this guy's name. He's going to be a stud in the secondary. They're talking about him like one of the best safeties in the country. And I think that's going to really help Oregon. I don't think the corners are very good, but he's going to be really good. Watch out for Dylan Theinman at Oregon. Sorry, that was a bit off topic. Back to Ohio State. They got Max Clare to dump the ball off of too. Like, if Julian Sayin's going through his reads, right? He's looking downfield. He's got, Jeremiah Smith's double covered. Carnell Tate didn't win his rep. There's Max Clare wide open because everyone else is focused on all of them. Texas, in week 1, they did a really good job of slowing down Jeremiah Smith in the playoff game last year. If you remember how that playoff game went, Jeremiah Smith did not have a very good game. But the running backs showed up in a big way against Texas. You had Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson making plays left and right. They were beautiful. That's why I have Ohio State so low. Now, again, number 4 is not low, but compared to what a lot of people have, they lost it a lot on defense. It's especially the defensive line. I mean, they got Sonny Styles, they got Caleb Downs, they got Igbinosun as a secondary. They're going to be really good. I just don't see them being as good as they were last year on defense. That D-line, JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer, Jack Owen Fourier in this house, by the way, they were such studs that I'm not sure how you can replace those guys. You can't. You can replace them in the aggregate. We'll talk a lot about that with my number 1 team, replacing stars, right? But along with that, it's not just one position group. Running back. Who are they gonna turn to at running back? O-line. They lost a lot. They lost Seth McLaughlin. They lost their right tackle. How are they going to be able to run the ball as well as they were last year? I'm very curious. I'm not saying they can't. I'm just not sure they'll be able to run the ball as good as they did last year. We'll see on that. I could be completely wrong. Lord knows they have just loaded up on 5 stars and 5 stars. But again, I'm using my Michigan fan expertise here. If you remember 2024, if you remember back to 2024, the recruitment of Jordan Marshall came down to Michigan and Ohio State. Jordan Marshall is the number 1 player running back in Ohio State, in the state of Ohio. I think Ohio State was banking on winning that. If you watch Jordan Marshall in the bowl game against Alabama, he was the player of the game. He was insane. I think this was supposed to be his spot. But now he's up north. So I'm curious to see how good they are running the ball. And I'm curious to see how good the offensive line is. I'm curious to see how good the defensive line is. Everywhere else is going to be great. That's why they're my number 4 team in the country. I'm just curious how that goes. They have to play Penn State this year. They have to play Texas week 1. And then obviously they have to play Michigan at the end of the season. I'm not sure how... I want to talk about this Texas game a little bit. I want to talk about how I see this going. I think we're going to talk about it a little more whenever we get to Texas. We can save it a little bit. But there's so many ranges of possibilities. Ohio State could win in a blowout. Texas could win in a blowout. One of the teams could win close. Go into 5 overtimes. I just don't know. There's a lot to like about this matchup in week 1 in Columbus, but we'll see.